Hi, I'm Krista Watson, and today I'll be sharing with you my mini exam video 1, and I'll be addressing prompt 2. Today we'll be looking at the trait of dwarfism within the Scooby-Doo family. They are a group of Great Danes, so they're typically a large animal, but some of them do experience dwarfism, and we'll be exploring the modes of inheritance of this gene. First, we're going to look at X-linked dominance. This is a sex-linked gene carried on the X chromosome, and since it is dominant, the phenotype is expressed with only one copy of this allele. This means the offspring is affected if the parent is affected, and it affects mostly females because they have two X chromosomes. And a father is, if he's affected, all of his daughters will receive the allele, but none of his sons will, since he will pass on his Y chromosome to his sons. You can see with Skippy-Doo, if it's dominant, he will have a Y from his father, and then there's nowhere for him to inherit the dominant allele on his X chromosome because his mother is not affected. Next, we'll be looking at X-linked recessive inheritance. This is also found on the X chromosome, and individuals with a dominant allele will not be affected, and males are more likely to be affected because they only have one X chromosome. And as you can see from the pedigree, this is consistent with this form of inheritance. Next, we'll be looking at autosomal dominant inheritance. This is expressed with only one copy of the gene, and if the offspring has an affected parent, then they will also be affected, and sex has no influence on the likelihood of being affected by the trait. As you can see, Skippy-Doo is affected, so one of his parents must have a dominant allele, but neither of his parents are affected, so they are both recessive, so this is not possible. Next, we'll be looking at autosomal recessive genes inheritance. With this, both parents must be carriers of the trait for it to be possible for an offspring to have it, and the offspring must have two copies of the gene to be affected, and it's typically not seen in every generation, and it can skip generations because it can be masked by a dominant allele. And you can see from the pedigree that this is consistent with this mode of inheritance. Lastly, we'll be looking at Y-linked inheritance. This is a sex-linked trait found on the Y chromosome, so it only affects males, and this is not possible because Skippy-Doo is affected. Only him out of his generation is affected, and his father does not have this gene, so this is not possible.